the Lambo and go drive it like it's stolen. I've been living wild, I'm just going through the motions. Stumbling out the Uber, grab my hand, gave me the notion. Swimming in your water, but it feels just like the ocean. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you. I was sipping Moet for 2 years straight to the face. Champagne belly bubble still won't go away. Last year my best man hit a stain with bare face. Now he's got a LB on the wall, that's cold case. I wake up.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I want to thank everyone for joining us for episode 21 of This, That, and the Third. This is your boy Hook. I'm here with the homie Shannon. Shannon, what's good with you?
Ain't nothing. What's good with you tonight, Hook?
I can't call it.
Nothing. That's right.
All right. So today we have a topic that we have a topic that's very controversial in the Greek community, right? I'm sure you've heard of people renouncing their letters for whatever reason, and it's obviously those of us who join the organization is something we're extremely passionate about, and anything that is brings anything controversial to our organizations, we tend to get a little defensive. But Shannon and I thought that it would be great to have a civil conversation about it and really find out some of the things that cause some people to renounce. What do we do after our friends renounce? And how do we continue to support the individual who makes that decision? So we'll certainly discuss it. We'll certainly talk about it. But Shannon, what are your thoughts on it?
I try not to be disrespectful of people who make that decision one way or the other, because I know just from my experience, how I feel about my sorority, I think it would probably be a really hard choice to make. And it would be a choice that someone would probably put a lot of thought into. So even though, I agree with it or understand it, I always try to be really respectful, because I can imagine that could be a hard choice to make.
Yeah, definitely. And, I think it's great to have conversations like this, because if people are making that decision, then obviously I think it's something that those of us who remain in the organizations need to be aware of, and also need to take the necessary action to fix whatever issues going on. But we'll touch on it. But before we get started, we have a couple of guests who are going to help us along with the conversation. Eden, since you're a first timer, we are going to start with you. So tell us a little bit about you.
Hey y'all. Hi. So my name is Eden. I'm from Greenwood, South Carolina. I've been in Columbia for about 15 years now. And I am just someone who just loves Jesus. I think that pretty much sums me up in like 3 simple words. So yeah.
All right, good deal. And Eden didn't mention it, but she went to the real USC, Aiken.
I did. The only one that matters.
Hey, the real USC. So I don't know all that. Y'all can have all that, right? And speaking of Gamecocks, Alvin, what you got, brother?
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Alvin. I attended the real University of South Carolina, that one downtown. As you can see, I'm a lifelong brother of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated right here in Columbia. And of course, April 19th, my chapter will be holding their Crab Crack Scholarship Committee, April 19th. Hopefully see you there. But just glad to be here and looking forward to the conversation, looking forward to the dialogue. Thank y'all for having me on.
Hey, appreciate the plug, man, because you know my girls and my wife, they love some crab legs, so we might just have to see what y'all talking about over there.
Well, what about the people who don't like seafood?
We got burgers and hot dogs and stuff.
Okay,
crab legs ain't the only thing we do.
Okay.
And the main point of the event is for scholarship, man. We're trying to get some young men, with their get their foot in the door to their next path after high school.
What about chicken?
Oh yeah.
Because I just want some chicken.
Plenty of that. Okay. Plenty of that. Don't even worry about that.
It's gonna be a good home down barbecue, man. That's all it is, man. So
BC too. Y'all in this USC.
They'll be there.
And we'll go ahead and get started. And Eden, I do want to begin with you, and because I know that you made a very tough decision, and I just want to hear about some of your experiences with that. So the very first question that I want to ask you is, what drove you to renouncing? What ultimately led you to that decision?
Yeah, so I think it was a journey, right? And it was definitely, not, a easy decision, to come to. Like it was probably like a 2-year time frame for me. I think it really started back in January of 2023, right? I had just I was coming out the cusp of like a really bad mental health situation, right? Like I always say, it's a miracle that I'm even still breathing, right now, because I did not think I would, be here, right? And so I got baptized on January 28th, 2023, right at my church. And, once you have like a big life decision, you just want to engross yourself in that. So, I just started really digging, into the Bible and really just engrossing myself, in all things Jesus, right? And I remember a really good friend of mine, we were having a conversation at work one day, and she was telling me, about covenants and about idolatry. I was like, girl, like, that don't apply to me. Like, I ain't been active in years. Like, I'm good. Like I'm good, right? And, fast forward to like around July, I was like, oh man, like, like it really is a thing, right? So I think the misconception when people say it's because of idolatry, right? Like no one is saying that you were like intentionally, right, was like intentionally, like worshiping, or putting somebody above God, right? I think it just all comes down to like godly covenants, right? And ungodly. Like we all know that a godly covenant is like marriage, right? You go to the altar and you commit yourself to something that's a godly altar, right? However, right, I think it really just kind of broke me when I went back and I realized the things that I had to do, the things I had to say to join that organization, right? Like I remember like being like dressed in white, kneeling down. I was like marrying another organization, right? And in my mind, the idolatry comes into play because Greek life is based off what? Like a Greek god, right? We know that every organization has a Greek god behind it. So that's what really made me realize and again, this is just, my journey, my thought process. I don't want to say anything to judge anyone else because these are my convictions, right? And my convictions, are not anyone else's conviction. Like this is just my journey and my story, right? And so when I realized that in kneeling down and, coming into agreement with that organization, I was pretty much, marrying another god, which became, that's where the idolatry comes into play at. And so and I think it really, really hit me heavy these past couple of months. And I remember last year when I kind of like I threw away all of my like I threw that away. And I remember I didn't want to tell anyone because like we all know how intense and like how big a topic this can be. So for a while I like didn't even like say anything. Just like the people in my circle, they knew because like I didn't want to, get that feedback because it's a thing, oppressing that I just need December, things I'm leaving behind, aka that. And so I've it's like it's a big decision. There are people who are going to judge you, and think differently of you because you chose to go a different way, right? But I think I just found peace and solace knowing that for my conviction and my journey and my story, that was, the right decision for me to make. And I just hope that people are able to see, past the messages, of like, you're damned. God is a loving God, like he's not gonna throw you away. He'll love you forever. But I think for me, I just did not want to be in idolatry from that standpoint.
So Eden, let me ask you, because when you go through that process of joining a Greek organization, you enter it with other people, right? And then you join a chapter, and then there are other people, like prophytes or whatever in that chapter. So, do you have support from like other members of your former sorority regarding your decision? I think we lost you. You garbled a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and while I think she's gonna come out and come back in, but while she's doing that, Alvin and Shannon, we're all members of Greek letter organizations, obviously, right? So, would you support a member who renounces, or how would you feel a certain kind of way? Would you distance yourself from that person? So, how would you feel if somebody in your chapter, in your organization, renounce? What would be your feelings towards them?
I don't think I would feel any ill will towards them or anything like that. I mean, I feel like those are personal choices that people make. My issue is when someone else makes that choice and then has ill opinions about you because you are still in the sorority. I remember I met up with someone that I was buying something from, and she had just announced our sorority, but I didn't know that. So I was letting her know that my daughter just pledged. And she was like, I don't do that devil worshiping. And my daughter looked at her like, what? Right? Because I love the Lord. I am very strong about my faith and my religious beliefs. So I didn't appreciate being judged because I haven't made the same decision that you have made. So that bothered me. Because I don't judge them for why they choose to make the decision that they make. So I don't think I would feel any kind of way. I just don't want anyone to feel some kind of way towards me.
Yeah, and let me just, whenever Eden comes back on, I wish what I'm about to say, I wish she could hear it, because I'm going to go ahead and give her props, because it sounds like she went through a little bit of a traumatic time. With that, she said had a little bit of a mental breakdown. And I mean, let's be honest. Black folks' mental breakdown, we deal with that we either deal with it or we don't, which which both can be kind of troublesome at times. And I'm gonna give her props to where she said, you know, it's something that it's a path that she took. She didn't paint. She didn't paint all 9 organizations with a broad brush, saying that, yo, everybody needs to do that. Because I'm pretty sure all 3 of us can say, yo, we've seen somebody say everybody in Greek life, they don't know why they're doing it. And for the most part, what I hate is those on the outside looking in. But the question at hand, would I support someone that, you know, that denounce, I guess that announced to denounce or renounce? I don't, it's something nounce, I guess. But but whichever one it is, man. I mean, maybe like for the first 2 seconds, I'd be like, the hell you renounce for? You paid all that money to get in. But
not paid off.
But at the same time, right then and right after my 2 seconds of being pissed off, I'm gonna say, you know what? If it's for religious reasons, I get it, because at the end of the day, exactly what Eden did outside of denouncing and renouncing and whatnot, having that relationship with, you know, with the faith, we should all be striving to do that, whether you're in a Greek level organization or not.
Sure.
And I will say, and it's probably gonna push some buttons right here, but I do feel like that's sort of a cop out if that's your reason for hanging it up, because you should have that relationship going in. Because no matter when you went in, and I'm pretty sure Hook probably at the time that Hook went in, he probably did his share of praying during some of them nights. So I mean, at some point, we're praying to the Most High. I don't know what Greek god. I've heard of the Greek god that they say Phi Beta Sigma pray, you know, worships, whatever. I don't know them people, whoever they say we praying to. I only know one. So it's just, I would support them. And I'm gonna say this before we move on, Hook. Some of the renouncers say, well, I joined in public, I'm gonna denounce and renounce in public.
Right.
But you learn your rituals in private. Keep it there. That's the only thing I got. Keep it there.
Yeah. And I appreciate that commentary. And one of the reasons that that I asked Eden on, like, I've known Eden for years, right? We worked together for years. And when she, like, it wasn't for her, like she said, it wasn't a big announcement, like, I did this because of, she made a post, and I parking lot I didn't ask her about it, but when this topic came out, when me and Shannon started talking about it, I said, you know what, let me bring Eden on to find out some of the reasons that she opted to do what she did. And, you know, it's, I guess I don't have an issue with anybody making any decision that is going to benefit them at all. You know what I mean? I feel that we're all grown, we're all adults. You make whatever decision you want to make. The only issue I've ever had with people that actually did, whether it's denounce or renounce, probably both, I don't know. But the only issue I had is when they tried to convince other people to join their cause. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's, you know, when we first came up with this topic, I went on YouTube, I looked at a lot of people, and they were just so gung-ho telling people why they should not be doing this. This is what we do. This is who we worship. I've been at Alpha since 1998. Long time, right? Nearly 30 years. I'm not the most religious person in the world, but I love my Lord, right? You know what I'm saying? And if I personally felt that there was anything that went against his teachings or anything of that sort, is something I certainly would have cautioned myself against. And again, that's my experience. And I think that with anything, with any organization that you join, I think there's good and there's bad. And I think that you going into it, and I urge anybody who is thinking about joining an organization, you know, like, understand the real reason that you're going into it. Because for a lot of the people that didn't join any organization ever, they have all these stereotypes about these organizations, right? You know, the alphas are the nerds, the Qs are the partiers, the kappas are the pretty boys, the sigmas drink a lot. You know what I mean? Just all these stereotypes, right?
That was partially right.
Yeah.
But I haven't drank in a month though, so.
But if you go back to layers, there's the only difference from organization to organization really are going to be the letters, because there are a lot of the same values and morals, and it's really whatever fits you. And Eden, I'm glad you joined us back. I know we lost you for a second. The question that was on the table for you was, do you have support from your former sorority sisters? Like when you first told them about your decision, how did they react towards you, or are those some of those relationships still the same?
Yeah, I mean, as we have gotten older, relationships have definitely changed. So we definitely don't communicate like we used to, The one that I was the one that I was the closest with,
Yeah.
I told her, and I think it was just that, that's your conviction, and then that's just your conviction type of situation. But I mean, the support that I have, it comes from the people who are, in my inner circle with me. And that's where I get the most of my support from. I try really hard not to, it took a while, but like where I'm at in life right now, as long as, God and I feel good, then I don't really care what anybody else thinks about the decisions that I make anymore. So if
Absolutely.
anyone doesn't like it, then, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem.
That
Yeah.
part.
And that we certainly agree on, and that's something I wish I would have learned early on in life. But I'm a little seasoned now. But as the older that I've gotten, it's you care. Sometimes we care too much about what people say, or what they think of us. But as long as you're okay with the decision that you made, I mean, honestly, it really doesn't matter what everybody else has to say or what they think, because people talked about Jesus and they did all these other things. So who am I? You know what I mean? So I know they're going to do the exact same things. And again, but when you left off, you probably didn't hear me, but I was saying that I do commend you for even coming on, because I know it wasn't an easy decision. I know it took a lot to come on. And again, let's be honest, there are a lot of super Greeks out there. You know what I'm saying? It's who are, and I love my organization, but it's a minimal part of who I am as a person. Like I'm going to show up, I'm going to pay my dues, I'm going to be active until the day I die. But at the same time, there is a bit of a balance there. Now, Eden, I do want to ask though, like, other than, because you mentioned heavily your religious beliefs, it sounds like that's primarily the reason that you opted out. And if you can't answer this next question, that's fine too. But was there anything else that kind of led you to that? Like anything within the organization, or anything like, that kind of, your religion may have solidified it, but was there anything else that you were kind of like, well, you know what, this ain't for me?
No. I mean, when I joined, right, I was very excited because, that's what the women in my family did that I looked up to, right? So, I just wanted to continue, what they did. I even know, which, I mean, it was difficult because, my two twin aunts, right, the number that I was assigned on the line, right, my number was in the middle of their two numbers, right? So, I mean, it was literally like a whole family thing. But I mean, there was nothing within the organization that, I was like, oh man, like this ain't it, right? It was just purely, based off, off of my convictions that I had.
Yeah, and I guess maybe I lucked out because I was the first person in my family, and I have a huge family, to join a fraternity. I had a cousin that joined AKA, but that was like back in the '80s. But I didn't have like anybody else to really follow, so that decision to join was truly my own. So there was no pressure there. So I do understand it's a family thing for you. It's not just a decision you're making that's going to impact you. It is going to impact those who are also a part of the organization as well. And again, I can't even. And you mentioned the mental issue that situation that you face. I know me personally, I've had my share of mental breakdowns, and there are a lot of things a lot of people don't know about my challenges and my struggles. and I sought therapy. I had to, you know what I mean? And couple that with making a major decision like this, I can't even imagine the inner turmoil that you must have been experiencing.
Yeah.
Now I do want to pose a question to Alvin and Shannon. Now, what would you guys say to a member of your organization if they came to you and they said that they were thinking about renouncing for whatever reason? Like, what would that conversation be like?
I think it would be a loving conversation. Like I said, I try to make sure that I'm always respectful. When I hear people in the sorority talk about, I've never heard anyone personally, but when I hear stories like on social media and people saying that they're denouncing their membership in the sorority, I try to always just be empathetic, because just like Eden was talking about, you don't really know why people are coming to that decision or what journey they've gone through or what has happened to them in their lives that make them feel like they need to make this shift. um, Eden's talking about, her journey as far as like her religious beliefs, but I've spoken to other people who left fraternities and sororities, and they just talk about having bad experiences within the organization, and that's why they decided to leave. So it can be just a gamut of reasons why people make this decision that they make. So I always just try to, I would think I would be empathetic to what someone coming with something like that, because I think is a profound decision, because most of us grow up wanting to be a part of these organizations. Most of us seek them out. Most of us seek out opportunities to be exposed to them, engage with them in some sort of way. So to all of a sudden just find yourself on a journey where you don't want to be a part of the organization anymore, has to be like a profound shift in someone's life. So I just think, hope I will be empathetic and not just look and be like, what? You want to do what? Why you did that? Hopefully I won't do that to them.
Yeah, and before you start, Alvin, one thing that Shannon just said something. She said that most of us grow up wanting to be a part of these organizations. I wasn't one of those people. Like, I'm from a small town, right? And everybody,
you always the
I
odd
know
man out. You know,
everybody I know that went to college, they pledged Q. So I didn't know about anybody else, right? And my roommate, he brought me a flyer. There was a Q interest meeting, right? He was like, "You want to join us?" I looked at the flyer, so I went to the interest meeting. But they started, like, in the midst, I found out there were other organizations. I said, well, you know what? Let me go check out these other people, right? So, I went to each organization, went to their interest meeting, and started researching, and ultimately chose Alpha for it's just something I really wanted to do, but I wasn't predisposed to that, so I really had no idea. And I say all that to say, Eden came from a different situation where growing up, I'm pretty sure that's all she heard. When you go to school, you need to do X, Y, and Z. You need, you know what I mean? So, and that would make making this decision just that much more, difficult. I do understand that. But Alvin, go ahead. So what would you say to a member of your org who is possibly thinking about renouncing or denouncing their letters?
Well, real quick, I'm from a small town just like Hook, small town, Batesburg, Leesville, about as big as this paintbrush right here. So,
Hey.
so I mean, in our school colors back home were purple and gold. As you can see, I dodged that bullet. But answer the question. First, I'd ask, what's up, what's going on. You kind of want to know what's on. You kind of want to know what's on somebody's mind, because at the same time, you never know what's on somebody's mind. You never know what somebody's going through, because, and I'm pretty sure one of us is going to say it, but life be lifing sometimes. And I'm telling you, and when it does, there's only one person you can turn to, and that's the man up above. Sometimes you got to pray on it. So I mean, every now and then, if somebody says, "Yo, I'm looking into renouncing, denouncing everything," all right, let's talk about it. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm just here to see. I'm just here to hear why you want to do it, and if you want to, again, I can't change your mind because whatever your decision is, that's the decision I need you to make with your heart and your mind. And when you
Mm-hmm.
do make that decision, guess what? We were cool. We were cool when you came into the organization. We're going to be cool if you decide to leave the organization. My only ask would be, hey, look, try to come, try to come support. If not, then I'm still going to support you because there's something that you're going to be doing that I'm going to want to come support because again, we were cool, we were friends before you became my fraternity brother. So I mean, I would I would just want to know what's going on and we talk about it and whether you stay or leave, you've got my support. And I just tell them that face to face. You've got my support. I'm here with you to the end. So one thing that I would say we may want to start doing, and this is on both sides because the topic itself is a divisional. It's really a divisional topic.
Mm-hmm.
It has been, and the funny part is, I feel like Greek letter organization, the members in it, and GDIs, we all want the same thing. We all are trying to get to the same place. We're just taking
Yeah.
different avenues.
Different
Yep.
paths to get
I
it.
think I think that's all it is.
And I think that those of us who are still in organizations, we have a responsibility to show people that we are more than just what the stereotypes say. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
Mhm.
all these because my I got two 15-year-old daughters, and the Kappas got this shit talking about we with the Noops now, whatever, right? So she's all in my face, like all walk through the eyes. We with the Noops now. We with it. I'm like, and
Oh
I'm
no.
like, you can't find no alpha video somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But but
Oh
we
no, Hook.
but we laugh about it. But that what that led to was us having a discussion about the organization. So I told her why I joined, what I joined. And I told her, when you go to school, you don't have to join anything. So I don't want you to think that, because this is what it is, that's a decision that you make. Like, it's not a requirement that you do any of that. So if you want to do it, cool, I'll support you. If you don't, I won't feel
Yeah.
any type of way. And I have a nephew that pledged Alpha last spring. And when he talked to me about it, there was no pressure. I didn't say, oh, yeah, you need to pledge Alpha. I said, hey, it's a decision that you're going to make. You have to live with it. So whatever decision you make, I'll support you. I'll even help fund it. You know what I mean? So it wasn't even a thing where I wanted him to follow in my footsteps. Now, granted, it was dope when he did it, but that would not have changed the way that I felt. And a lot of the guys that I joined, and Linda made a comment earlier. Eden, I don't know if you saw it or not. Linda Burton, she said, Eden, yeah,
Yeah.
you're still our sister, and we love you. And that to me, that is the most important thing because you go through this process, you form bonds with these people,
Mm-hmm.
whether they're in the organization
Mm-hmm.
still, you're still friends. You still have to support each other.
Yeah.
You're not always going to agree. Sometimes you gotta agree, disagree, or you can even choose to agree to disagree. But I think
Now, Hook,
go ahead, Shannon, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I don't think I was that friendly with my daughter. I don't think I did that. Yeah. So I'm glad that you were able to be neutral. In my house, it was, hey girl, hey girl, don't play no games. You know what time it is. I commend you for that because it wasn't like that in this house. But um, I know one of the things that I always, just be worried about the most, like I said, is just the most of the time you do hear about it being religious reasons why people denounce their sororities and fraternities, and I think we're all feel understand that these were based on Christian
Right.
principles. Um, we understand that there are certain symbolism and letters and all that sort of thing, but at the core, they were developed based on Christian principles. I've never prayed to called someone else's name or another God's name when I say prayers when I'm participating with my sorority sisters in various activities. Like that's just never been a thing. So it's always a very challenging position for me when someone says that you're worshiping another God or anything like that. To me, it has no difference than someone that goes to a church and, to me, worships their pastor or their bishop or their elder, and things of that nature. It's no difference to me that um, you see that person as a symbol, as a part of the thing, so you also give them reverence, not necessarily that you're worshiping them, because no one comes before God or Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
In my book, so I always find it challenging when I hear that.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'd say a lot of members in these organizations do a really good job on biting their tongue, because you'll be told that, hey, you worship another God or whatnot, and I'm sitting there saying, if I do, cuz please tell me who it is, because last time I checked, I only worship one. The church I went to as a kid, a quarter mile away from my house. I walked to church most of the time. Look, I gave, not to say I gave a football game, but I was baptized on a Friday night at the age of 16. I'm a member of Brooklyn Baptist Church. I go to my parents' church. I went to church this past Sunday, me and the family. So I mean, it's almost as if you're trying to tell someone, hey, look, I don't worship another God. And next thing you know, you're being told, yo, you and the siblings, y'all worship another God. Bruh, please tell me who, because last time I checked, we go to our meetings. The first thing we do, we pray to God. And to be honest, we got about a good 10 pastors in my chapter. I don't even cuss when I go to meetings because of them guys, which I hate that, because everybody knows some of my favorite words are only 4 letters. So it's really tough for me to manage in a meeting sometimes. But yeah, I'd say the main thing, and again, if it's a religious reason for anybody trying to strengthen their faith, I absolutely have no problem with that. But I would say just know that it's a lot of us in these organizations that sit in the pulpit. It's a lot of us like my state director. I can tell you right now, every Wednesday, he's a Bible study. Wednesday is the one day I know I'm not talking to him, and I talk to him on a regular basis. So to hear when someone says, yo, you worship another God or whatnot, I'm sitting there saying, man, please tell me who it is so I can give that God a call and be like, look, you late because I'm 50 G's deep in student loans, and he ain't helping, and that God ain't helping out.
That's it. You need to get your weight up.
No, I'm good.
Now you a better man than me, man, because I don't bite my tongue like I cuss around everybody. So
I know you don't.
You know, hey, God know my heart. So
I'm telling you
now. And Eden, I think I may already have the answer to this question, but I'm gonna ask anyway. So before making that decision, did you consider or think about or have, I guess, any type of debate over how it would affect your former sorority sisters? Like, did you consider them at all?
No. No,
I think so, sis.
I mean that.
I can answer that for you, sis. I know.
Way.
Bro, I ain't mad at her answer at all, man.
I mean that in the best possible way, but like I said earlier, the decisions that I make, at this big age are the decisions that I make, right? There are definitely like a few people, that I'll think about, because there are some people, right? The decisions that I make, like it impacts their life, right? So of course, like I think about them, but no, and I mean that in the best possible way.
No, and I get it. And the reason I ask is because when you're a part of any, it can be a work organization, it can be fraternity, it can be family, it can be other things. A lot of people sometimes, before we make a decision, we consider the people who are closest to us, like how are they going to feel about doing that. So again, I think it's commendable because and people throw this word around, but I'm serious when I say it to you. like it's what you did is, and you probably, I mean, it's brave. I mean, it's big, you know what I mean? So it's, and the thing that I appreciate the most, you made that one post and I didn't hear anything else about it. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like it was like just this attack on whoever it's, and that's how I know that it's a decision that Eden made, and Eden is confident in the decision that she made. And you know, because I've seen some people make that decision, and it's all, this is why I did it, and you need to come along with me, and you come on, you know what I mean? So it's you know, and I think for anybody with any decision, like I know for me personally, when I decide to do something, I decide to do it. I don't care who feels a certain way about it. I don't care what way they're gonna take it. But I'm not gonna try to convince you to join me. Like that's your journey. This is my journey, and then this is, you know, this is how I'm gonna move going forward. You know what I mean? But again, I think it's big. And I guess for Shannon and Alvin, like what are some things, you know what I mean? Because this is obviously a big topic. Is this something that you within your individual organizations, is this something that a topic that you guys talk about or broach, or is it kind of swept under the rug a little bit?
I don't really see us really discussing it. I think when it happens and it's like maybe someone has posted something and it gets sensationalized, and then you hear a lot of people about it and they're sharing it because maybe the post had some of that back and forth banter in it. Like one of the things we normally say is, if you don't want to be a part of it, why don't you just walk away? What's the point of putting the messages out there that create even more division and even more, you know, like sensationalism? If you don't want to do it, just walk away. If you don't like your job, 9 times out of 10, you just walk away, right? You don't have to put it out there and make it such a big deal. So that if there's anything that comes of it, would be that, you know, why does it have to be such a big deal, a denouncement? Why can't it just be you walk away?
And see, I think it's a conversation in every organization. It's definitely been one in mine and Facebook groups and everything. And the one thing I give Eden a ton of credit for, she said this was my road. This was my journey. This was my experience. She didn't come out here. She didn't come out here and, you know, bloviate about her former organization. She said, look, this is what I did. This is why, period. And I would say, and even if you join your organization, I join this organization, this is why, period. I'm gonna let my work speak for me while I'm in this organization. For Eden, it's I'm gonna let my conviction and my beliefs speak for me of why I left this organization. It's nothing negative, nothing negative against it. I wanted to better myself with the Most High. And that approach, that's why I'm glad we're actually having this conversation, because you got folks in the organization, somebody who left the organization, having a healthy dialogue.
Absolutely.
You take a look at Facebook, man, you be forgetting that these some church going folks talking on these posts.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why I can't do anything but commend Eden, because she said this was my road. I'm not.
You have to respect that.
She didn't go cult mode with it. She said, this is my road. If you want to take the type of road I did, that's on you. If you don't, that's on you. But saying that this was your specific journey, I have nothing but respect and love for you, because that's, to some people, it's a really difficult situation. Personally, especially if you've been in an organization, say if you've been in 10 plus years, that's a long time to build in that organization. And we know it ain't cheap. So you make that decision, it's tough. And then you stood on it saying, look, I left because I wanted the strongest relationship with God and Jesus. Absolutely. I'm sorry. I respect the heck out of that.
Yeah, and anybody that I went to school with, and Joe's on here, and he'll tell you, like, I think we use the term, sometimes we use the term brotherhood and sisterhood loosely, Like, you know what I mean? When we're doing these organizations, we say it's a brotherhood, right? But before I even thought about joining Alpha, I had a brotherhood, right? I have my group, my circle of friends, and honestly, all my friends play as Kappa. You know, all of them. You know, and it's like I hung out with more Kappas than I did Alphas because that was my crew. Those were my boys. That's, you know what I mean. So I didn't join Alpha and just say I'm only hang out with Alphas. Like, nah, we they went to Kappa parties. I went with them. You know what I mean? I let them do their little thing, and then and vice versa. So, but those are my brothers. You know what I mean? So whether we're in the same organization or not, if I rock with you, I rock with you. You know what I mean? We don't have to share the same letters. So if I did have a member of my org who wanted to come and say, hey, you know what? I'm thinking about, you know, denouncing, you know, I would obviously wouldn't try to talk him out of it, just try to find out, you know, what's going on, why do you feel that way, and then I'll let them make their decision at that point. And like Eden said, it's an intensely personal decision. So it's not about you, it's not about your organization, it's about you and between a covenant between you and God. And as you're okay with it, as long as God's okay with it, it is what it is. And to Alvin's point, you know, this is healthy dialogue. But you know, with social media, people do stuff for likes and clicks and all these other things, so they want to cause controversy. But the fact is like we need to have more of these conversations. And whether you stay in the organization, whether you leave, it's totally on you. But if I'm your friend, I'm your friend, whether we rock the same letters or not. But that's my take on it.
Joe made a good point. The outside influence.
Oh, absolutely.
The folks, because I know one person now. She's not even in an organization, and she goes off about them. Now, again, I get it. If you're in Eden's perspective position, you got the right to be able to say, you know, your stance on it and why you left. But if you're on the outside looking in, this type of conversation would be for you because you're getting it from both sides of it. And it's a respectable conversation because a lot of folks that are in these organizations, some folks may be like, okay, that person left. Some of us may be like, you know, this person had, they more than likely had a valid reason to leave. And if so, if you're a Sigma and you're leaving, my first question, what size that paraphernalia? If it's an XL, if it's an XL, I'll message you my if it's an XL or double XL, I'll just cut the sleeves off the double XL. But I'll take it. But outside of that, man, we as the folks in the organizations, we kind of need to do a better job on the folks that's walking away, and one, let them know that, hey, you walked away, but guess what? We were cool before you came in. I'd say on both sides, we kind of need to do a better job on the process of why somebody's walking away, and then also make them feel like, hey, you're not performing a carnal sin by walking away. You know what I mean? You're doing this for your specific reason, and we're adults. We have to accept why somebody's doing it.
Yeah, I think some of the discourse comes is when it's I'm leaving and you should too. Like I think that's when people take offense or the back and forth starts to happen. But like you said, when people just say, "Hey, it wasn't for me. It's my journey. It's my choice. I just walked away," then you can leave space where there's no need to argue and go back and forth about, well, no, that's not what I believe. That's not what I think. That's not what it is. It's just a place where I can just accept your decision.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens sometimes, and why we start having these, posts that get shared 3,000 times, 500,000 times, because you have a lot of the finger pointing and you're wrong and I'm right and that sort of thing. And really, it's just people's own personal, spiritual, or personal journeys. Because, like I said, some people even leave the organization just because they had bad experiences, right? They may not like someone or don't like how things are ran or whatever the case may be. But I just think that's when it starts getting ugly.
Yeah.
And the more we can stop or refrain from letting it get to that point, I think it leaves more place for people to be understood
Agreed.
and for it not to be such a traumatic experience for people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, no, go ahead, Eden.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was um a big contention for me. That's why I just made that one little thing, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
no one has like no one like I'm not in a position to judge anyone, right? And I think sometimes the messages, can come off, very judgmental, right? Instead of coming from like a place of love and compassion, being
Mm-hmm.
genuine, right? So, it's no one's place in my mind, to be judgmental or say, you should do this, right? Of course you want, people, to have their own journey, but end of the day, to Shannon's point, I will let, my fruit speak for itself, right?
There we go.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
make a big paragraph, I can just say what it is, and my fruit and my works will speak for themselves.
Yeah, I know.
And I think that sound approach
Mhm.
really will help people look at what you've done and actually try to say, well, let me see what she went through. Let me see how she came to her decision versus spending all your time going back and forth because the finger pointing starts happening. So I think just taking a approach like you did probably could lead to more people being influenced by what you
Yeah,
did.
and I know a brother, he paid his dues. He turned around and announced. He could have gave that money to me because these dudes ain't cheap. And then he gave away his paraphernalia. We wear,
You and this
we wear the same
paraphernalia, you
size.
need a
I was tight
shirt.
about that. We wear the same size.
What size do you wear? Let me buy you a
X-
shirt. My
Yep.
goodness.
XL, like I got a good bit in the closet, but of course,
You said XXL?
but
Okay.
of course, we all know these clothes ain't cheap, man. Like I'm quick to just find me like a regular blue Hanes t-shirt and just keep it moving. Like to be honest, the shirt I'm wearing now, I was gonna wear it tomorrow, so now I just gotta wear some random green t-shirt.
Go on,
I
wear it
know.
So
then. Go on,
so
wear it then.
so I mean, also for any of y'all other denouncers out there, Eden took care of her paraphernalia. If you're going to leave, either pull what Eden did, or you find somebody that'll take that off your hands.
Eden, what
Because
did
if
you
I go
do?
to if I go to his house or Goodwill and see a Sigma shirt in there, I'm gonna buy it. But at the same time, I don't want to see it in there.
No, listen, just don't take it to Goodwill because what's gonna happen? I don't know if you saw the video with them Asian dudes on stage who had on the Delta jackets.
Oh man.
But but that's
Y'all know about 20 people sent me that video. I'm like, what you want me to do? Go pull them off the stage? Like, well,
no. I commented. I'm like, what?
what am I
I'm
doing?
like, when you cross, what semester? Like,
bro, I was barely laughing at that.
hey man, that was comical.
Wasn't it a dope jacket though? It was so
No,
dope.
My
no,
man was out there getting off too. I said 1913. Hold on. I said, turn around real quick.
right,
Letters on the
Represent.
back. I
right.
said,
He was
Nah,
representing. He
and we have a few minutes left, man. This has been a very fruitful conversation. It's very dope. So I certainly appreciate all perspectives. So before we head out, right, I want to just get some parting shots from everybody, right? So Alvin, we're going to start with you. Like, what are some thoughts you want to leave the viewers with?
He wear an XXL shirt.
and don't throw your paraphernalia away. Send it to him.
and I bet not find it at Goodwill or the Salvation Army. I agree, Quentin. Just some things, just a thing or two to lead the folks with. Again, if you're in these organizations, make sure you're going in for the right reasons. Make sure you're taking a healthy relationship with God and Jesus, or whatever God you do serve in the organization with you. Do what you can to make that organization take you closer to your faith. If you do decide to renounce, that is your personal decision. You should be respected for your decision. If not, then guess what? Those folks probably weren't your friends to begin with, and they probably just wanted your money. But for anyone that's renouncing, you have my 100% respect, because I know it was a personal decision. So
Uh-huh.
for everybody on both sides, let's do a better job on one, bringing folks into our organizations and make sure we support them in their spiritual journey if that's the reason that they're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. All right, Eden, what you got, sis?
I would just say, thank you. This was a really good conversation. Hook, I was very, very nervous about this because I was like, oh my gosh, like, like I know how the conversation can go, but I think it was great. It was very informative, on both sides. I would just say, that if anyone, is unsure, right, about anything, I would just send them, to prayer and to read, the book of Hosea, because that's an awesome resource talking, about God's heart for us, and idolatry. But I would just also say, just to remember, that at the end of the day, we're not here to judge anyone, right? Because everyone has a story, everyone has a journey, right? And this might sound a little cliche, but to always lead with love, in everything that you do, and it'll be fine.
Absolutely. And Shannon, what you got, sis?
I love the lead with love that Eden just left. We keep getting these mantras we can take into our everyday life on this show. So we got to write all these down, Hook.
Always.
Yeah, lead with love. And I'm going to, say that also, because my thoughts are you can be empathetic to people as they make these decisions, as they go down these roads to make these choices, because I believe they're not easy choices for people to make. And one of the reasons I believe that is just because, like I said, most of us, Hook not included, grew up wanting to be a part of these organizations. Like we didn't just wake up one day, someone we met, some experience, family members or whatever, exposed us to these organizations, and then we went on a track to become members, and we accomplished that. So, and then, like you said, some people may be in these sororities, fraternities for 30 plus years, right? It's pervasive in their lives. So for them to just make a decision to completely shift can't be easy. So just making sure that people are seen and heard and can be understood, and we lead with love. We give people love and let them know that just because they've decided to do this for themselves doesn't mean that they're not still part of a larger sisterhood, a larger brotherhood that we have.
Absolutely. And for me, I guess my lasting thought is it really has nothing to do with the organizations. And I think Eden said it perfectly. Your journey is your journey. You're the only one who has to follow that. You have to live with the decisions that you make. And don't get me wrong, like I love my organization. You know what I mean? Like I've been active for the past few years. I wasn't active immediately following college. Small school, small chapter. I was burnt out. You know what I mean? And it weighs a lot on you. It takes a lot out of you. You know what I mean? So, I became active 4 years ago, and I don't regret it at all. However, pause. I do understand it's not. I'm an alpha, but alpha isn't me. You know what I'm saying? It's part of who I am. It's an organization. I love it. I'm going to do what I can, but at the same time, alpha is a small part of who I am as a person. I'm a father now. I'm a husband. These are all my priorities. So my organization is not going to take precedent over what I have going on at home. And for my chapter, they can either understand it or not. I mean, it's totally up to them. But if I don't make a meeting, I just can't be there. You know what I'm saying? So, but for any journey, any whatever it is, no matter whether it's leaving an organization, no matter whether it's being more active in kids' lives, no matter whether it's joining a church or whatever it is your decision, and you have to be apathetic. You can't let outside people, impact your decision and sway you one way or another. You know what I'm saying? But again, this
Yo, ruthless boy.
Joe, what's
Joe,
up, Joe?
Hey man, Hey, that's what happened when you have Kappas as friends, bro. Like they play all day. They play all day. Nah,
What's
but
going on tonight, Joe? What's going
I
on?
know.
Joe been on one the whole time, boy.
But this has been a great conversation. Alvin, thank you for coming on, brother. I appreciate your perspective. You know how much I respect you, man. I love everything you're doing, and I plan on being at your crab crack in April. So I plan on bringing the family out there. Shannon, as always, sis, you already know how we roll. Thank you for everything you do, all the contributions you make, and Eden especially. And I can't say this enough. I appreciate this. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been years since we've seen each other, man. So we got to link up again because I haven't seen you in a while. But again, I appreciate you so much. And good luck on your journey. And I will say that your words, in terms of of letting your journey be your journey, it resonates with me, and that's my biggest takeaway from this podcast. Thank you so very much, and to the viewers, thank you again for joining us. We truly appreciate you. Yeah. We'll be seeing you again in a couple weeks. What's today, the 6th? So we'll see you again on February the 20th. We don't have a topic yet, but once we get one, we'll certainly let you guys know. So until next time, everybody take care.
Take care. I'm with Joe though. When is the thing? Alvin?
Oh yeah, Alvin.
April
what's the date again, Alvin?
It's April 9th. Matter of fact, hold on.
Oh goodness. He wasn't ready. You gotta stay ready.
Yeah, man. When you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Gone. We gotta figure out what our next topic is now. We gotta keep this going.
Yeah, we got it.
Thank you, Jawanda. Thank you, Quentin. Dude, what's up?
Sorry, y'all. All right, so the date is April 19th from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Robert Mills House and Gardens, 1616 Blandon Street.
Okay.
This is just one of many tickets I got.
How much are the tickets?
Got you. $70.
What?
That's 70 per family or 70 per person?
Per person.
What if I'm just getting chicken? I don't want no crab legs.
It's all, but here's the funny part: it's all you can eat. Plus, Hook. Didn't your sisters just throw a party where it's 100 a head?
Well,
I almost had to go give up one of these terrible ass kidneys I got just so I can get it. And
you're right.
All right, I need your ball April 25th.
But at the same time, look here, it's all you can eat crab legs, all you can eat food, and again, we'll have music, stuff for kids. I believe so.
I don't want no Publix.
I don't do Publix either. But have you had Sam's Club potato salad?
No, I said homemade.
It'll make you put somebody in a sleeper holder so good.
Okay.
and better than my mama. Ain't better than my mama.
It ain't better than nobody mama potato salad. But it's a good close second though.
Nah, but we gonna be hitting you up out in tickets though for sure.
Yep.
Y'all know where to find me.
All right.
Right here in good old Columbia.
I appreciate y'all.